Back at the stand, Sheriff Center, and a little bit of a shocker here in the first set as number 13 Hawaii comes up short. They led it by as many as 3 into the 20s, and then Grand Canyon coming back. Opportunity for us to check out our Jack fact, and this is something. You almost got to read this twice to make sure you got it right. We're not a computer. Oh, well, we are a computer campus, not a commuter campus. Now check out the numbers. A total enrollment of 42,400, but only 4,400 actually attend classes on campus. 38,000 online students.
That is unbelievable. Just goes to show you the day and age we live in now, with more people going online, obviously not needing to be in the classroom, but that's a huge difference.
You know, I think it's really easy to say, hey, I'd like to do that. I can just kind of stay in bed, work from my house. But you know what? There's nothing greater than the college experience. I mean, actually, you and I were talking, they got kind of a cool little campus. It's a really nice campus.
He said the Phoenix Suns actually utilize some of their facilities. It's really a newer campus, able to look at it online. And
yeah, the reality is they're probably designed to be a computer rather than a commuter campus, because they could probably only accommodate physically about that number of which they have. And so they're designed to offer the online courses, and boy, do people take advantage.
Coming into this second set, Hawaii going with a different lineup. Averill now taking the starting nod as Carroll goes to the bench. Again, Carroll not having, pretty decent numbers, 2 kills, hitting 400, but again, Hawaii looking for a little bit more physical presence and size out there.
And with Taylor Averill, you definitely pick up some size. Good job of running that down and coming over and keeping it alive. Hunt. And he's able to put it out for blocking down.
And that shows the progression of Stephen Hunt as a hitter. Just watching him over the course of 3 seasons here at UH. The old Stephen Hunt would just try to blast through that. This Stephen Hunt went high hands, went for the opening on the court. Nice, smart shot, picking up his 4th kill. However, not hitting for the best numbers right now.
Marks to serve it for Hawaii. Lopes and Averill team up with the block. And Hunt. And he is off the triple block and out for the kill. So Hunt, they're going to need him if they're going to get back into this match. And you start to look at the numbers for him, and he's got 4 kills now. And
5 kills, hitting 214. But coming into this set, he was actually hitting below 100. The other outside, JP Marks, hitting 0-0-0. So Hawaii outside is not having a good night.
And another opportunity for Hawaii on a free ball. Lopes right over the middle. Dug up by the libero. And then Lopes again at the net, showing his size. Off the block, and JP Marks unable to handle that one. And that's a point for Grand Canyon.
So see this ball being hit out of that right back position, that deep position. That time by Tarantino, picking up his 6th kill. Having a pretty nice night for the Lopes, hitting just over 200.
Taylor Griffin out of Iron Ridge, Arizona. And Hunt, he did a little head hunting that time, well, right after Tarantino.
The most impressive part of this hit is the height at which he hits this. Look at how high he is making contact and hitting that ball off the head, down the line. Trademark Stephen Hunt hit down the line.
Kind of that great ability to just hang up there at the apex of his leap. And that one just out, another point for Hawaii. And they jump out to a 4-1 advantage here in the second set.
Maybe that last set, a good wake-up call for Hawaii. Look a lot crisper going into the second set so far.
Averill at the net, teaming up with Nick West to keep that one from falling. And then off the block and out. Stephen Hunt was there, but couldn't turn it inside. And that one got away, point for Grand Canyon.
Tarantino with yet another kill, actually known for his blocking, and broke a school record in block assists last year.
And West off the tape, played by the Lopes. Averill with the block, and then they're going to call a lift on Keith Smith, and that'll be a point for Hawaii. As you get a good look at head coach Jeremy Price. So Taylor Averill now back. Came to Hawaii via UC Irvine. And out of the back row. Dug up nicely by Hawaii. West finds the seam and puts it down for the kill.
And that's a great play and showing the evolution of Hawaii's offense in Hawaii's middles getting up for transition. West practically hitting from that left side. Take a look at this here. West right there hitting that one, but look how close he is to Stephen Hunt. Hawaii got pulled all the way over to the left side, but still able to run that quick attack because West got up quick in transition.
Averill off the tape. Lockwood puts it up, and that time J.P. Marks unable to turn that one back into the first row of the stands. And a point for the Antelopes. That'll be 3 serving 6. Back to serve it up will be Keith Smith, a 6'4" sophomore out of Whittier, California. Hunt recognizes the block, tries to go over it easy. And then Hunt with the block, but again, it's out. And Tarantino, give him credit for the kill.
And most of Tarantino's kills have been coming off of using Hawaii's blocks. We saw that last play of the first set where he simply tipped it off the block. That time there, hitting that ball with pace and going off Stephen Hunt's left hand.
Smith to serve it. Marks with the pass. Hunt off the block with the kill.
And Stephen Hunt really digging himself out of that negative percentage hole that he had, picking up his 7th kill. Obviously, a lot more sets going to him here in this second set.
So Hawaii +3, 7-4. Hawaii dropping the first set to the Antelopes of Grand Canyon. And Hunt with a good serve. Biscaro up there to keep it alive. And then slamming it straight down is Lockwood for the Antelopes. Lockwood, he's got a build that looks more of a football player kind of build. He's a stocky guy, 6'5". He's a sophomore, and he's a muscular young man.
And he goes hard every time. I mean, you look at him attacking, sometimes you think he's going to run into the net.
Averill from the far side, unable to put it down. Setting it up. And finding that back corner is Taylor Griffin. And that 8-ball corner pocket shot.
And they're finding success in that deep corner. This is maybe the 3rd ball we've seen hit in that same position. We'll see if Hawaii defenders in that middle back position makes the adjustments.
Hawaii was up by 3, and now the Antelopes trying to even it up. Not so fast as J.P. Marks.
And that's a set that J.P. Marks likes. He likes it a little lower, not as fast, but just lower tempo in the set location, and able to steer around the block and actually beat the block from really forming.
4th kill tonight for JP. And you see the numbers on him, a couple of digs to go with it. Back to serve for Hawaii, Nick West. And Lofi, along with Biscaro to keep that one, and coming in is Marks. Off the block. But out.
Not a very tight block that time. J.P. Marks flying his hands in at the last minute, and again being used. So Hawaii blockers really being used tonight.
And that serve is long. Wise are the Warriors to let that one go. One of the toughest plays when you're there in that back row to make that split-second decision.
Yeah, it's something important for your passers to really have that court sense, know exactly where they are on the court, and knowing where that ball is coming from to make that decision.
And Biscaro kind of knuckles that one over. 0 rotation on that ball. Off the block. Nice job by Biscaro to keep it alive, and then a net violation. Lofi, point Grand Canyon.
Serving for the Antelopes, Jordan Tarantino.
And Tarantino back to serve with his team trailing by 1. It'll be 8 serving 9.
And that last error by Lopes was the first error that he made in the past 5 matches. Up until that point, he had not committed a hitting error in 34 attempts. That his first hitting error, again, in 5 matches. Pretty amazing statistic.
Yeah, absolutely. Hawai'i up by 2, 10-8 after the service error. Marks. Good serve. Costello. The dig. Averill dug up and trying to lean over the scorer's table on the opposite side, and now flying over is the libero Trent Bruns, and unable to get to it.
Great effort that time by the Lopes, but that play started off by a great dig by Nick Costello, staying on his feet. That's the important thing. We saw a couple of those roll shots fall earlier, but Costello getting there on a run-through play, able to keep control of that ball, and Hawai'i able to score in transition.
A little bit of aloha on the part of the Hawai'i fans as the service ace drops in for JP Marks. Well, I was going to say, Hawai'i fans always there to reward good effort. And that play before that. And now the applause for JP. The service ace puts Hawai'i up by 4. And that one's going to sail along. So 9 serving 12. Back to do the honors will be Taylor Griffin. And he floats that one long.
Coach Price not happy about that last service error. Obviously trying to just get back into this match, and cannot do that by making these unforced errors.
With a 4-point advantage, Lovie serves it for Hawai'i. Flying out of the back row and hitting it long is Tarantino. Point Warriors, and Hawai'i now with its biggest lead of this second set, up by 5, 14-9. And that time, good swing by Tarantino.
So Tarantino, who hit wide just moments ago in that last play, this time hitting out of the back row again, but coming out of the pipe, a play that we have not seen them run yet. And another service error.
Well, we're not going to win the side-out battle. Down by 5 takes us to a timeout here at the Stan Sheriff Center. Hawai'i trailing 1-0, but leading here in the second, 15-10. We'll be back with more from the Stanley. Back at the Stan Sheriff Center, Charlie Wade watching on as his team's trying to rally back in the second set. Opportunity for us to see how it worked, presented by Central Pacific Bank.
Well, this play happened moments ago, and we talk about transition plays and the key and why it's so important. And this all starts off with the dig by JP Marks. Now, the dig not in that normal middle position, but see Sam Bascaro able to run that middle to Nick West, because Nick West got up in transition, and that's something that comes with experience. It comes with the hitter and the setter knowing each other. Worked out perfectly for Hawai'i that time.
So Hawai'i equaling its biggest lead of the second set, up by 5, and Taylor Averill, the freshman out of San Jose, and he promptly hits it long.
Again, Averill, who missed most of the week in practice because of that cyst that was removed from his neck. Also, Johan Timmer having a medical ailment as well, which held him out of practice for most of the week. So nice to have that. We talked all year about that depth of Hawaii's outside, so Hawaii's able to run around. But we see that Stephen Hunt using that block, hitting it out of bounds. But again, going back to my earlier thought that the depth of Hawai'i this year allows them to have multiple options on the outside.
Stephen Hunt now back to serve for Hawai'i, 16-11. Hawai'i dropping the first set, 27-25 Antelopes. Off the block. And West blocked right back at Hawai'i. And they're going to have to just knock it over. Averill does so, and there's nobody there. Hawai'i had no choice but to just knock it over the net. Taylor Averill just put it up for grabs, and there was nobody there.
That time, Stephen Hunt setting that right front position, not recognizing that that's Sam Vizcarra, not traditionally a hitter. So Averill just keeps the ball in play, and that's a note to all you youngsters watching volleyball. A great place to place a free ball, anything inside the 10-foot line. It takes the offense out of its normal production. So a great spot by Averill.
And if you're a good lip reader, you could see Jeremy Price, the head coach of Grand Canyon, saying, what happened there? What happened right there was a service error on the part of Hawaii into the net. Side out, point Antelopes, and back to serve. It'll be Ben Punnett. 12 serving 17. And there you see the service aces versus errors for both teams. And both teams well into the minus column.
Yeah, and the thing is, Grand Canyon yet to pick up an ace. Hawaii rewarded with 3 aces for their efforts from behind the service line.
Hawaii now its biggest lead of the second set, up by 6. West to serve it up. Nearly an overpass. Marks there to knock it back over. Averill with one hand knocks it up, but Marks kind of slipped a little bit and unable to get to that ball. And that's going to be another point for the Antelopes.
And again, a very easy dig. Missed opportunity by Hawaii. Averill just sticking a hand out when Stephen Hunt right behind him, able to make the easier play. But that's where communication comes in. And that's where these players have got to communicate with each other.
Nice play by Hunt, but a better play by Grand Canyon. Teaming up to block that one is Mather and Tarantino, and they put it right back down at Hawaii's feet.
That's a great save by JP Marks. Not the best set that time by Vizcarra, but Marks able to use the block, picking up the kill by utilizing and using the block.
Vizcarra back to serve. Hawaii now up 19-13. And the back set, Averill. And I think it was off the antenna. It was antenna violation against Hawaii. And a point for the Lopes. Tarantino back to serve it. Costello with the pass. Averill puts it down through the block. And Taylor Averill. They're going to need him as the season progresses. And when you can bring this young man in, and he's 6 feet 7 inches tall, that's some of the depth that you were talking about.
And remember, Averill, a setter that's actually being converted now to that opposite position. Just a great all-around player. You see the numbers and the players and coaches talking about his performance early in the pregame, about his performance against Pepperdine. 10 kills. Boy, looking for him to continue to have success offensively for the Warriors.
And a good swing there by Taylor Griffin for the kill. He's going to go back to serve with his team now down by 5.
Lofi unable to get all the way out there. Griffin recognizing that and hitting it between the blockers.
Griffin floats it over. Hunt with the pass. Averill with the finish.
And great set by Sam Vizcarra, going against the flow, being pulled to that left front position. And a great back set to get Averill with a split block opportunity.
Lofi to serve it for Hawaii, kind of knuckles it over. From the big room, Nick West.
Coming up with a Hawaii double block, Big West and Taylor Averill. Timeout Antelopes.
And a timeout's going to be called over there by Jeremy Price. He doesn't need to ask what happened that time. This is what happened. The double root, 22-15 Hawaii.
Give the one you love the perfect gift from Big Island Candies. Click on BigIslandCandies.com to view their Valentine collection.
Charlie Wade and associate head coach Jeff Hall looking on and watching their team, looking pretty good here. +7 in the second set. Hawaii dropping the first set. And a little bit of extended play, 27-24. Grand Canyon taking the first. And into the game, and serving for Hawaii is going to be Matthew Cheap out of Mililani High School. We haven't seen much, if any, of Cheap this year.
That first appearance by Cheap so far this season. A great passer, being brought in that time as a serving specialist.
Substitution number 4, Taylor Galliano. Serve for number 10, Ryan Mather.
A point for the Antelopes. It'll be 16 serving 22.
Matchy.
And there you see Galliano back to serve it up. And Galliano with the high toss. And whacks it into the net.
It's not a good toss that time. Way in front of him. Again, coming up off the bench for his second service error.
That's now 11 service errors, no aces on the night. So big disparity in the minus column when it comes to serving for the Antelopes. And back to serve now as Johan Timmer gets himself into the match. And Timmer has just displayed flashes of brilliance in his freshman season. And at other times he has played like a freshman. Nick West powers it down inside the block. And now Hawaii looking at set point. 24-16 and Johan Timmer to serve for set number 2 as you get a good look inside of the eyes of Jeremy Price. That high spinning toss off the tape. Nicely played by Griffin and then put down. The block with Scarrow, and Hawaii takes set number 2, and they do it in convincing fashion, 25-16. We are at the intermission here at the Stan Sheriff Center. Don't go away, everybody. Much more to come here. Hawaii and the Antelopes of Grand Canyon even at 1 set apiece.